What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the show. So I have some good news to share with you guys with regards to Senator Manchin, and I'm going to save it. I'll save it to the end. I want to talk a little bit about some of the polls that we posted, but I think this is a move in the right direction, so we'll talk about that. Well, first off, on this channel, we talk about financial news and what's going on in Washington, D.C. If that sounds like something interesting to you, please subscribe to the channel and hit that little bell notification. That way you'll get notified anytime we put out a video. And like always, if you see my name and a picture of me in the comment section, make sure you see a check mark next to my name. That check mark signifies that it's me. If you do not see that check mark, it's not me. It's someone trying to impersonate me. Okay, so let's go ahead. I want to talk about the polls. I did a few polls, and you guys are really responding to these polls, and I really, really appreciate that. So let's get over to the polls first, and then we're going to talk a little bit about Senator Manchin. So here we go. Do you think your financial situation will improve or get worse in 2022? Now, this is a question that I had for you guys, and you guys really responded. 3,800 people responded to this question here, and 31% of the people say yes, it will improve in 2022. And then we have 69%. The vast majority of people think that it will get worse. I think we're all hoping that things get better. And I'm hoping that when it comes to inflation, we're at a point where we're at the top of this inflation rise, and hopefully it will start going down. You've heard politicians talk about this as transitory, which means it's temporary, but we're only hoping that it will get better from here. So we'll have to follow it and see where that goes. But the vast majority of you guys I think we're going to be worse off, and that will favor Republicans, right? This is a midterm election, so if we are worse off, then that looks like Republicans will be able to take control of the House and probably the Senate. So we're going to have to follow and see where it goes. Now, if they do take control of the House and the Senate, what are they going to do? What is their plan? As of right now, we have not heard any plan when it comes to Republicans. So you have to kind of understand there's some plans that they're trying to get through, Build Back Better and some of these other proposals, the voting rights bill, all this stuff that they're trying to get implemented now. But Republicans have not spoken out about what they want to do if they do gain power. So we'll have to see where that goes. Okay, so let's go ahead and move forward here. Next poll here. What do you think about President Biden's press conference last night? Now, it wasn't last night, but I posted the poll a couple of days ago. 3,600 people participated in this poll. And let's see, 18% of the people say that they think he did a good job. And then we have 25% of the people that think he did a terrible job. And then 57% of the people think that, or they didn't watch it. Now, this is very concerning. 57% of the people didn't even watch. And this was one of those large press conferences. He was there for 2 hours answering questions. So not only did he have a speech, but he did answer questions for a long period of time. And this is where the American people, our government's only going to be as strong as we are and as much information that we know. So the more information that we know about what our politicians are doing, what they're in favor of, what they're not in favor of, that makes a strong government. But when we start looking at situations where people just don't participate, that's where it gets dangerous. And if people are just tuned out and they're not even paying attention to what these politicians are doing, then guess what? These politicians are going to do what they want. And we've been seeing this year after year. Politicians do what they want. They still get reelected. So I think it's very important, whether you like President Biden or you don't like President Biden, that you at least participate in the process. You at least listen to what he has to say. You at least listen to his answers to the reporters' questions. And so it's very troubling to see that the vast majority of people are just not paying attention. And just think of it this way. Let's say you have a restaurant. You're running a restaurant and you're never there. And you're never paying attention to what your employees are doing, or you're not paying attention to the customers. Well, the employees, they're gonna catch wind of this. They're gonna realize you're never there. They're gonna realize you're not even paying attention, and they're gonna start doing their own thing. And they're not going to fear losing their job because you're never around and you're not paying attention. And not to mention the restaurant as a whole will go down, because if you're not listening to employees and you're not listening to the customers are what's coming in and paying your bills. If you're not listening to your customers, then eventually the company is not going to be able to sustain itself. And so that's kind of the way I see this. We, as the employer, need to pay attention to our employees. We need to pay attention to the president. We need to pay attention to Congress. We need to know what's going on with them, because the more that we know, the more we can hold them accountable. And if they fear losing their job, which every politician, their biggest fear is losing their job. And if they're telling you, no, it's not losing my job, they're lying to you. Okay, that's why they're spending millions and millions of dollars running these campaigns, spending all this time trying to get reelected because they want that job. So we need to pay attention to them. So this poll, when I looked at it, I was thinking it would be a lot more people would have at least watched this press conference, but a lot of people did not participate, and that is very, very scary. And you can't just wait until the election day and then say, okay, I'm going to vote on election day. You need to be paying attention prior to that, so these politicians know, hey, they're watching what we're doing. So that's all I have to say on that. But yeah, that was pretty surprising, the response there. Okay, let's move to the last poll here. Would you benefit from a child tax credit? And so this is, I just kind of wanted to gauge my audience to see where you guys are when it comes to this child tax credit, who's benefiting from it, who's not. We have 2,200 people participate in this poll. 31% of the people said yes, they would benefit from the child tax credit, and 69%, so a vast majority, would not benefit, or their kids are too old. Now, I kind of thought that was the case, because anytime I do anything, any post any videos about child tax credit, I do have a lot of people in the comment section saying this is not going to benefit me. But if you guys watch any of my previous videos, the way that I feel about the child tax credit is I think that this is a test. Okay, they're using this child tax credit, the monthly payments, they're advancing it to you early, just similar to what they did with the stimulus check, advancing your tax credit early. They're doing the same thing with the child tax credit, and we could see more of this in other areas, and that's the important thing. And one of the questions that I always get is when I start talking about tax credits, I get people saying, well, I'm on Social Security, I don't pay into taxes. The stimulus check, that was a tax credit. Okay, so this would be much like a stimulus check. If they were to implement something else, just because you don't pay into taxes doesn't mean that you can't get this tax credit. It would be just like a stimulus check, but they would give you $300, maybe $300 per month. So it'd be an overtime thing. It wouldn't just be one lump sum. And this is one thing where I think the child tax credit's good, because it could potentially open up more opportunities for different programs to move through. So we'll have to see how that goes. But as of right now, yes, the vast majority of the people that are watching my channel are not really interested in that child tax credit. But we have 30% of the people that could benefit from another child tax credit. Okay, now the last thing I want to talk about is the good news. Okay, the good news about Senator Manchin. So Senator Manchin on Thursday, before he was leaving for the week. Now, politicians, they very rarely work a full week. We know this, right? They take recess a lot, and this is one of the situations where they're leaving early for the week, so they're not working on Friday. So anyway, Senator Manchin, he said he's open. He's open to talk about Build Back Better, this revamped Build Back Better that they're trying to get through. Now, I agree with some politicians that have come out and said this already. They need to change the name. Obviously, they're going to have to streamline this, and they're going to have to figure out what they agree on. Okay, so whatever they agree on, when I say what they agree on, what the Democrats agree on and what Senator Manchin and Senator Sinema agree on, that's what they're going to have to pull together in this Build Back Better plan that they're going to start talking about and negotiating. And then once they get that done, once they get that bill done, then you can start looking at some of these other things like the child tax credit, which probably won't be in there because Senator Manchin has already indicated that he has some reservations when it comes to the child tax credit. But they might be able to do a piecemeal bill where they can pull support from some Republicans, because that might be a situation where they can pull some support from them. So we're going to have to see where everything goes. But the good news is Senator Manchin is open to talk. And if he's open to talk, it looks like they can move forward with the things that they can all agree on. And initially, this is the way it should have been. We knew Senator Manchin for the longest. He's been talking about his apprehension for a lot of the different parts of this bill. And we know that Senator Manchin and President Biden were talking behind closed doors. I personally think that the Democrats went too far. They had too much in this bill. And because of that, that's why Senator Manchin was like, you know what, I don't want to move forward with continuing to negotiate. Now I think the message has been sent that, look, we need a smaller bill, and it looks like the president is on board for a smaller bill. So Let's hope that they'll start talking as soon as possible and try to get something through in the next couple of weeks. So we're just going to have to follow it and see where it goes. And then in February, we still have the funding of the government. Okay, so they need to do a continued resolution to fund the government, which means that they can throw another stimulus package in there if they see fit. And we have politicians on both sides, Republicans and Democrats, talking about another stimulus package. So that's good news. So I want to know what you guys think about all this. Do you think it's good news that Senator Manchin is open to talk, or do you think he's just playing games again? Let me know down below. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe for more, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.